On day one, people are going to either make a big dummy who has all offensive and defensive rebounding, all standing dunk, and nothing else as their first build. Or they're going to make you waste money on an awful build that has 3 or 4 99s but won't be good after the first month of the game. The build I have that I made for you guys is going to be good for the first day cheesers, and it's going to be good throughout the entire game for the guys who are solid and don't spend a lot of money on the game and only want to make one build. See, a lot of people want to combine those two. They want to make the play shot with the 99-3 and the big dummy just in case they miss until they get badges. But what if you get a build that can take advantage of those matchups? I'm talking about the most slept on lineup of all time. The double big day one lineup. Now, why am I calling this build that I'm giving you toxic? Because this build is a post up power forward that's going to take advantage of those 6'2 and 6'3 little playmakers, and you're going to give them the drop steps of hell. And if you guys don't believe this lineup works, look at some of the matchups that I got last year on the first day of 2K. I'm even going to throw some gameplay in the background so you guys can kind of see the vision. Now ignore me being trash because this was the first time you had to time your layups and I was not ready for it. But you ideally want to pair this with a 7-4 stretch because eventually they're going to try to switch. And you're going to want your 7-4 stretch to be able to shoot over the guard. Ideally, the 6'3 is really just the total mismatch in this, and you're going to cheese over him the entire time. Just in case you know your homie is trash though, make sure they make a big man with a lot of standing dunk too. And I have that build for you guys too, but let's be focused right now. Now I know so far it's been a yap session, but here come the screenshots. The position you're going to put him at is power forward, just to make sure it doesn't switch the matchup, and you always have the guard. He's going to be 6'9", he's going to be 216, and he's going to have a 7-foot wingspan. Why? You want the long arms to be able to finish. The cheese starts all the way from the beginning and the finishing. You're going to give him an 85 standing dunk for 2 reasons. You get silver rise up, and you unlock detonator takeover, which a lot of people are already saying is the second most elite takeover behind airspace. On top of that, you're going to give him a 91 post control, and you can see how many gold and silver post-up badges you get. And even if you get a 6'6 or a 6'7, based on the matchups that you're probably going to get as far as strength and interior, it's probably going to be good even on bronze. Probably the most important part of this build is going to be the shooting. You're going to have an 85-3, which is the highlight of the shooting, because you want to be able to unlock that silver satin fire. You want to be able to catch and shoot those open shots, because eventually, if your teammate's hitting shots and then they start having to double team and he starts dominating in the paint, they're just going to start leaving you open, so you have to be able to hit your open shots, even if it's just a corner 3. And playmaking is just as important as the shooting. I know you're going to look at me with that 70 pass accuracy, but hey, you can't have everything. The biggest thing about this is the 80 ball handle, so if they do switch a big man onto you and you're struggling to shoot but he's staying up on you, you can actually get by him, you can make some good moves, you unlock some good animations, and you get a 70 speed with ball that's higher than most big men's actual speed. This is the most in-depth part of the build. You're going to talk about the defense. The defense, you're going to get an 85 perimeter, which is going to allow you to unlock glue, which a lot of people are saying is the best defensive takeover in the game. On top of that, you're going to get a 60 steal for silver interceptor. You have a decent block, and you unlock silver seatbelt. The only problem with this is you do not have a lot of badge tokens, which is why when you unlock new ones throughout the entire year, you're going to want to put them on your defense. On top of that, let's start talking about cap breakers, because that's another thing that's going to take this build to a whole nother level throughout the entire year. Say you finally get a good guard and you just want to run this as the big, as a good stretch, you can upgrade your interior defense to an 86, so even post scorers have a tough time getting shots over you. On top of that, even with just 3 cap breakers, you can get a 77. You can upgrade your steal all the way to an 84 with 5 cap breakers. You can also upgrade your block from a 70 to a 91. You can become a defensive menace throughout the entirety of this 2K27 cycle. What's probably the most unimpressive part about this build is the rebounding. Again, you're a power forward, you're not a center, but you only have a 78 defensive rebound and an 82 offensive rebound. The reason I made the offensive rebound higher is because even if you miss your layups against the 6'3 to 6'5, 6'6 guys, you're going to have silver offensive rebounding badges. This year, offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding is split. I feel like the way you want to play with this build on day one, you're going to want to have your offensive rebounding higher. However, again, if you go to the cap breakers, you're going to be able to get an 87 defensive rebounding, which is still not amazing, but it's serviceable for a power forward, even in the park running the 2s or the 3s. Last but not least are the physicals, and you're going to have an 82 speed and 80 agility, and really that's just to keep up with the guards that you're supposed to be guarding. A lot of people are going with about 86 speed and 87 agility, which is about the threshold, so you're not going to be too far off on a power forward. You have an 82 strength. There's also another version that I'm going to show you guys where you have an 86 strength. And instead of having post spin on gold, you're going to have post powerhouse on gold. So you can, again, give the drop steps of hell to these 6'2 to 6'5, 6'6 players. And also for my rec heads, because I know I'm one, if you use that version, you're also going to be able to upgrade your free throw to a 79, which makes you a lot more serviceable, especially at the end of games. You're going to have a 71 vertical because you're not really going to worry about contact dunks more so. You don't actually get big man contact dunks unless you're 6'10. This build is 6'9. So the vertical is probably less than what people would want. However, it's still very serviceable. If you want to use the primary version of this build that I described, it's going to be called a two-way inside-out creator. If you do want to up your strength and have more drop step, you're going to be called a two-way inside-out bully. I could spend forever telling you guys about how crazy this build is and about how many different ways you can use it. That's the beauty of this build. You can use it all year long, or it can be your first build. You can cheese with it. It can play every position. There are so many combinations with this build. You're just going to have to make this build. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. But that's all for me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend, show some love, do something. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.